Aloha, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Wellness Show. And we have a very special guest. I know I promised this about a couple of weeks ago, but finally it's happened. I'm here with Mr. Stan. God, I'm so excited about having him here. You know that I forgot his last name, Stan Graham of Elements Meals. Okay, and Stan has created. He is the CEO and co-founder or founder of Elements Meals. He does have some partners too, but the beautiful thing about his product is this is a product that was designed for athletes and people who just want to better their health. Okay. And for a lot of you out there in the audience you know that I'm in the world of health. I'm a chiropractor. I predominantly help people lose weight. And, with the system that we're using, which is the majority of our systems is through Chirothin, and we use the Chiropractor weight loss system, is we wanted to find a particular product, food product, or meal program that will meet the criteria to help our patients lose weight and stay healthy. And we did. And so without further ado, I'd just like to introduce, Mr. Stan Graham of Elements Meals. Thank you for being here, Stan.
Mahalo and aloha. It's great to be here. Great for you to have me, Dr. Colgin. I appreciate it.
No problem. So Stan, tell us about, first of all, I didn't really tell people what these meals were. So I'm just going to show the audience here what they look like. And this is an example. They come in a bag. All right. These are freeze-dried meals in a bag. Very delicious, very healthy. But I'm going to let you take from here is how you came up with this and why.
Well, yeah, I was experiencing something that millions of people experience several years ago, and it was, but it just got to a level of white hot pain that it pushed me over the edge to say, I'm going to find a solution. And that experience was the perpetual frustration of what do I eat now?
Wow. Yeah.
Right. So I'm an athlete. I've trained. I've been an athlete all my life. I've been training the last several years to break a world record for the 15 over men's mile, which is a serious pace. It's about I'm looking at 419 mile, and
Okay.
I'm a few seconds off that pace. But so I've trained all my life, and I'm professionally I'm a lawyer, and I've traveled the world. My legal practice focused on international commodity transactions, so I traveled a lot, and I was commonly referred to as the bag guy because I had 4 bags with me all the time. I'd have my business bag, my gym bag, my food bag, and my book bag, right?
Right, yeah, get it, totally understand.
So I've eaten out of tuna cans in conference rooms and during depositions, boardrooms, courtrooms, all that kind of, I've been very strict about my eating patterns to the point of, people making fun of me, that kind of stuff, which is fine. But I grew up on a farm, and what I grew up with was the blessing of eating whole food all the time.
Wow.
So we, whole milk from a cow. We killed our own animals for animal proteins, for meat.
Right.
We had a garden, about half an acre garden.
Wow.
When I was 15, my dad had told me to dig a root cellar, basically an elephant grave. Dig a root cellar that's 8 by 8 by 8, And here's a shovel. So
right. Here you go. Get to work. Right.
Right. That's right. But so, Elements came as a result of my frustration with wanting to eat farm food anytime I wanted to, anywhere I was, and not being controlled by any third party telling me, well, you've got to go here to pick up your food or drive up to that window to order it or go into this place where you can't see the kitchen and how they're cooking it or know where the food came from. All those things that I'm sure that all of your clients and patients wonder about.
Oh, let me tell you.
And question about.
Exactly. Right.
Right. So that's why I wanted whole food without any garbage. And I wanted transparency for the food. And I wanted to take really the best food, Chris, the best food that we could source, and then integrate that with the best nutrition preservation technology in the world.
Right.
And that's what we've done.
Yeah. Well,
So
hey,
we're
that,
just fastidious about sourcing the food that we have, the animal
sure.
proteins, the vegetables, the fats. They're premium grade, harvested at the appropriate time, never before. And then we freeze dry them with the best, actually the best freeze drying technology as well in the world. And so that even preserves not only the nutritional density of the food, it also preserves things like cell walls. I mean, it's that
That's right.
ridiculously good.
Yeah.
So that's where the elements came from.
Wow. Well, that's just, I got to tell you, I mean, it has helped me so much to understand this. So first of all, we got great food with a great preservation system. I mean,
Right.
that's half the battle with our food supply right there is preservation and
Yeah.
having it and where it's sourced, right? And by the way, I love what you have on the back of this bag, and I share this with my patients and go, hey, look, I want to let you know what's in the bag. What's in the bag is fresh herbs, sensational spices, delicious taste, self-respect. What's not in the bag? What's not in the bag? I love this. Preservatives, artificial colors, flavors, and artificial flavors, gluten, milk, shame, and guilt. I mean, that's what life is about, right? I got to tell you, I loved that from a marketing perspective. And when I show this to my patients, it's such an easy way to let them understand I got your back. I'm only going to make sure you get the best of the best while on this program, even under the most difficult of circumstances. And one of those circumstances has been with my patients that do a lot of traveling. Now, we're here in the San Francisco Bay Area in a suburb called San Mateo. And we got people here that travel 3 to 4 days a week, and they're trying to lose weight. And when this was introduced to us from Jason, and I went, it's a no-brainer. And these people now, they have so much less stress when they're on our program because now they know exactly what they're going to have as a meal. Now they know where they're nutritious and they're going to be sharper. They're going to look good. They're not going to fail. There's no excuse. And plus, they're accountable to me on a daily basis, right?
Every day, right? Every
That's right.
single day.
So, it's not like they're not given options on how to stay healthy. They now have viable, healthy options to not only enjoy their career, but also to get better health. So that's been the other thing. Tell me how do these, with meals like this, and you shared with me the story a while ago, and I think it was a family member, if I'm not mistaken, but how has these meals helped certain family members, like maybe with diabetes or metabolic diseases? Are they safe for, a lot of people wonder, well, is this safe for me? Am I getting enough nutrition? Is my blood sugar going to get low? Those concerns that a lot of, say, diabetics or people with metabolic disease have. What would you say to them about this?
Really super question. In fact, I've got a weekly newsletter I put out. It's called the 2-Minute Tuesday. Oh. And the content that I address that our newsletter will be published on today is fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Wow.
I mean, to answer your question, this is just some preliminary comments to answer that question, Chris, which there are more liver replacement surgeries now for liver disease caused by non-alcohol sources.
That's incredible. I did not know that. Yeah, that is nuts.
Yeah. Which is nuts.
It doesn't surprise me, that it is, and that's the scary part. It's wow, this is happening way too much.
Yeah, because it used to be not too long ago that if people have if their liver is shot, it's usually because of it's an ethanol problem. They're pounding alcohol, right?
Right.
Which is just concentrated liquid sugar, which just obliterates the liver because it's the inspection and cleaning system of the body, right? That's the primary inspection cleaning system of the body. So
it's a filter, right? Exactly.
Yeah, it filters all that blood that's coming out of the gut and in the bile. It does all that stuff. So the point is that the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease curve, the growth of that curve over the last 20 years follows the same curve as in the US as we have for obesity and diabetes, type 2 diabetes.
Wow.
Like they're the same curve. And so there's obviously a direct correlation, if not a causation, in relationship between obesity, type 2 diabetes, metabolic disorder, and liver disease. and liver disease doesn't ever turn out well.
No.
And so and that relationship is dynamic in that it's bilateral. That one begets the other, right? If you start with a fatty liver disease, it's going to lead to obesity and type 2 diabetes and metabolic problems, and vice versa. So as Elements Meals applies to that kind of situation, what's the solution? Well, it does start with what you put in your mouth.
Right.
It starts with that. I think you've spoken to it rather eloquently this morning already when you say, gosh, here's a solution, because the degree to which you can help your patients modify their lifestyle behavior and change their psychological relationship with food, and consequently their sustainable health and wellness, is the degree to which you can help them do this. Right. With this action right here, what they put in their mouth. And so for me, one of the biggest benefits of Elements Meals is giving somebody that kind of freedom to control that, regardless of the circumstances, whether they're on an airplane, in an airport, in a car, at the office, after the gym, you name it, because our food has a 3 to 5 year shelf life. I mean, the nutrition, you're not going to find more nutrition dense food. You can't buy it. It's just not available. Nobody harvests like we do, and then we flash freeze it within 6 to 8 hours, which captures all the nutrition. Nobody's doing that.
Exactly.
And so I knew, Chris, that I could not deliver what I first didn't possess, right? And so that's why we are so meticulous about actually when we harvest, where we harvest, how we harvest, capturing that nutrition, and then with the freeze drying technology, we can preserve that for years.
That's just incredible. Thank you.
So my brother this last fall, I have a younger brother. I have 4 brothers. One of my younger brothers, his wife gave me a call in September and said, "Hey, your brother's just been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes." I wasn't surprised, because I'd seen that happening for 15, 20 years.
Okay.
And so she said, "What do we do?" The doctor says he needs to eat something like a paleo diet I said, "Just go online and buy the meals. Don't worry about shopping," because she said, "What am I going to do? I have to go to, what am I going to buy? What do I have to, how do I put food,
Right.
What foods do I put together?" I mean,
Right.
I mean, they're really upset, right? That's a shocker.
Sure.
To get that message from the doctor. Bam, you're in it. Now you're in the middle of it, this bad situation. So having to worry about, or think about, or start to get educated about, well, what do I eat? What foods can I put together? What the hell is a gram of protein? Right?
Yeah.
Or what's a gram or an ounce? What's the difference, and how much? What's the serving size? What do calories have to do with nutrition? I mean, all this science stuff that no one ever thinks about.
Right.
It's just great to be able to say, here's a bag, put a cup of hot water in it whenever you want, and then you eat it. And so, and you're good to go. So it's a great solution for inflammatory, chronic inflammatory situations, right? And every disease that comes as a direct consequence of that hyper-activated immune system, right? And so if we can address that fundamentally, elementally, beginning with the foods that we eat, then man, that's you're giving power to people. You're giving power to people to do what they want to do without having to learn before they can actually act.
That's incredible. It has been that simple. It really has. We were in Las Vegas.
I really want to
hear
your experience, because I've heard a little bit about you. I've heard the conclusions, but I really want to learn about that, because, in fact, before you start, one of my partners, my primary partner, his name's Joe Hicks. Could have had him on here today, but he has lost 50 pounds.
Wow.
He lost 50 pounds in 3 months by dumping the garbage. And he was accountable to me every day. I just get rid of all refined foods, all the sugars, all the stuff, all the garbage, and eating 2 Elements meals a day. And his wife cooked a good meal for dinner at home. Right. You know, a good protein, lots of vegetables, lots of vegetables, lots of vegetables, fiber, good fat. And,
Right.
and he was, there are two sides to his story, Chris. One was he'd call me up and say, Stan, I can't believe how easy this is. Is it supposed to be this easy? Because he was saying, exactly. He says, I'm dropping weight. He'd call me and say, I've lost a pound today. He was 250.
Wow.
He was 250 pounds. He was an NCAA nationally ranked tennis pro in college. So the dude's he's an athlete.
Right.
But, life got a hold of him. And so now he's he's like 203. So at 47 pounds. And he's looking for 190, which was his college weight.
Wow.
And
it's 48.
47 years old.
Yeah, I'm 48. Okay. And, and so I can totally relate, to what he's been through because, part of the journey for me and how I got in this space as a chiropractor, a lot of people ask, how did you get into weight loss and nutrition? And you're a chiropractor, you're supposed to focus on bones and things like that. I go, well, kind of based on what you talked about here, back in 2006 was when my kind of nutrition health journey began with all this. And that was the first time I heard the word GMO. Okay. That was the first time I heard the word, or more or less more of it, toxicity, environmental toxicity. Right. And I also noticed too that the care that I would provide chiropractically, some of the results that I was used to getting quicker were taking longer, to happen because of this toxicity. Now, one of the big tenets of chiropractic is, the reason why people get sick or why they're in a state of dis-ease or uneasiness within their body is because of not only the structural component, but the toxicity component. And, now,
for sure.
And especially in the last 15 years, we've been living in the most toxic era ever known to mankind. Now the big thing people are really starting to talk about more about is, what is it? With the Wi-Fi, right? Or the 5G. Okay. Well,
EMS,
right. Hey, well, it's going to help production, but is it going to help our systemic production? Yeah. What's going to be the cost on this?
What's the cost of that?
Yeah. So, the biggest thing that when we help people is we tell them, look, we understand there's a cost to doing business. We also understand there's a cost to living life. But if you don't invest in yourself now with what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to pay a lot more later, unfortunately.
No, that is so true.
And so when we look at meals like this, I already know what I'm having for lunch today. I'm having this sweet potato hash. This is my lunch today,
I love that one.
And here's I know, right? And here's the thing about this is, because I got kind of a full schedule and I'm working from home today, I need something quick, efficient, that's going to give me the energy I want, that's going to satiate me, so that way I'm not too hungry, I want to have something else. But this is so simple. This has taken so much stress off my life and also my patients too that are traveling. I said, now look, do you think you can fit this in your suitcase? Do you think you can fit 2 or 3 or maybe 4 of them in there? Come on, I think you can, right? customs isn't going to bog you down. There's no liquid. There's nothing you're going to drip, or there's nothing explosive, right?
No, in fact, those meals we're on record of having those meals into Russia, into Tahiti, into Australia, to Hawaii. How Hawaii is about letting anything in.
Oh, yeah, especially fruits and things like that. Definitely. Their customs are very strict. Yeah.
Very strict. And so, people have been, so they've made it through all those kinds of, they're not an issue to travel with. That's the point.
So just to kind of recap, so far you're using not only good sourced foods, we're also using the best of preservation technology and freeze-dried. Now, there's an old saying, right, Stan, and you kind of already debunked this, but I really want you to go into it more. If it comes from a bag, a can, or, what is it, from a bag, can, or something else, it's not worth eating. So what's your rebuttal to that?
Yeah, my rebuttal is everything comes in a container.
Okay.
And it's just transporting nutrition.
Right.
Okay, a banana comes in a pill.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah.
Unless you're eating the pill's the container. Right. But everything, nutrition comes in containers. Milk comes in the form, you don't pound the leather. The leather on that cow, no one's knocking that down.
Right.
So, as an example, I'm sure a lot of your folks don't do dairy, but food comes in containers. The earth itself is a transportation system.
Right.
The nexus between the microbes in the soil and the minerals in the soil and the magic that happens by this plant, by that photosynthetic process, and this plant's ability to change inorganic minerals into water-soluble organic minerals in the form of a plant, a container. The plant contains the nutrition. That's what it does.
Right.
So what we've done is we've taken, for instance, one of the things that happens if you don't handle that plant well, for instance, for example, I harvest a plant or I harvest a fruit or a vegetable. As soon as I detach it from the life source, it begins to die.
Okay.
Same thing with an animal. You stop the life source, it dies. Same thing happens with vegetables and fruits. I detach it from the life source, it begins to die. Within 3 to 7 days, the mineral, vitamin, and polyphenol content of that fruit or vegetable will decrease by 50 to 70%.
True.
Shocker, right?
Yeah.
So what we see as a wonderful produce section in the grocery store is really kind of a graveyard. This is where they come to die.
Yeah.
Because they're dying. Everything there is in the process of dying. Now, some of that fruit, some of those fruits and vegetables have been harvested 2 weeks ago, some of them a few months ago, some of them over a year and a half ago.
Jeez. Yeah.
It's true.
Wow.
Very true. That's why we spray fruits and vegetables with waxes, parabens, to try to slow down the release of carbon dioxide, which happens when they cannibalize themselves as they die. Right. That's why when you get a piece of fruit or a vegetable and it feels kind of soft and limpy, that's part of the death process, right? That's a symptom of or a sign of it dying. So what we do is we arrest that death process by freezing it within hours of harvesting it, whether it's plant or animal. And then by freeze drying that, we can preserve that nutrition perpetually. The bag that we place our food in has 3 specific functions, because it looks like a pretty normal bag, but it has 3 specific functions. And it's a BPA-free bag, by the way.
Great.
So
we can tell.
Number one is the food in there has 3 enemies: oxygen, moisture, and light. Those 3 things that are so important to us also degrade life. And in terms of, they degrade life in terms of food. You leave anything out in the sun, the sun is not going to treat that piece of food well. Air does the same thing. Moisture does the same thing. They all degrade the value, the nutritional value of food. So what our bag does is keep out light, keep out moisture, and keep out oxygen, which preserves the nutritional quality of the food itself. So our bag is simply a transportation system of getting the freshest food and best nutrition, really the highest density nutrition per calorie that you can buy, to people who want to eat it.
Well, there we go. I mean, so we got great farm to table, right? We have best preservation technology, and also we have BPA transportation, or encapsulation of this food.
Yeah.
So for us to enjoy a healthy meal for not just for many days or months or years to come, if we don't eat it within a certain period of time. I mean,
right.
I
could just as well tell all your patients and clients that your refrigerator is a transportation system.
You're right.
You bring food from the grocery store, you put it in the fridge, and you keep it there. You keep it there in order to preserve it. Well, that's what we're doing. We've just got a smaller fridge going on, a little bit lighter, and there are other type of transportation systems. In fact, Jason and I know that one of the things he was looking for when Chiro Thin was looking for a meal solution was these Harvest Basket or Sun Basket or Blue Apron that send the fresh fruit in a styrofoam box that's frozen.
Right. Wow.
We're a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, I agree.
That from a lot of different perspectives. So yeah, it is a different paradigm for people to look at this bag and think, man, I can put water in this and get this kind of quality of nutrition. That's mind-boggling, but that's the point. It is.
There we go. There we go. And one of the things, just talking about, and thanks for explaining all that, by the way. That was just the spot on. When it comes to our health, this weekend we were at a big convention in Las Vegas, okay, at the Mandalay Bay Resort, and so one of my family members who was with us is on the program right now, and
oh, nice.
Their concern was, okay, I picked a great time to come to Vegas when when I'm on this program, and I go, no problem. I got your meals all ready for you.
Nice.
I'm sure we could find some hot water somewhere, and she didn't miss a beat. It worked out great. Everyone's happy. There's that stress is gone. It's like, come on, we're here for a reason to accelerate in what we're learning about this weekend. But at the same time, we're not going to compromise it either. So
that's a beautiful story. Now you don't have to compromise is one of my favorite messages as well, is that now you don't have to.
Yeah, there's no reason to. And just to kind of share with you, with some of my patients, even with myself, I always like to try something out first. And I said, fine, I'm going to take this to the test. And, hey, if it doesn't work on me, I'm not going to promote it. And I was so pleasantly surprised to know that, I'm in my office the majority of my day, from about 8 a.m. to almost, 6 or sometimes 7 o'clock at night. And there's times it's like, all right, well, I got to go down the street for Chipotle to get myself a burrito bowl or just something. But it was so nice to just get my kettle out, add 8 ounces of hot water in there, plug it in, and within less than 2 minutes, have boiling hot water, pour it into this bag, let it sit for 12 minutes, set my timer for 12 minutes exactly, and just enjoy this wonderful meal, and stay on my program. And now that I'm no longer on my particular weight loss program, but I get to enjoy these other meals that you have rather than just the 3 that I'm using. So it's been really a great thing to do just that. And keep it simple.
Give me some of the specific benefits the quantifiable benefits that you experienced during your trial with this food and your loose phase.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One was, first of all, the weight was coming off. It kept me on target. I just rotated the meal, and I would have them predominantly for lunch, okay? Because when I would get home, I would have food ready to cook and everything else. So my lunch was taken care of, and I would just rotated these meals. There was 3 meals that I would choose from. We got the balsamic chicken pomodoro, the country herb chicken, and also the broccoli cinnamon pork here. So every other day I would just rotate my lunches.
Right.
That was great, and I didn't have to.
How was your energy after the meal? Like you mentioned, your satiety and satisfaction. You noted that those were positive benefits. But what was your energy? How long did it last you?
You know what? More than enough time before my next meal. In the evening. It got to a point where it's like, oh, I forgot to have my afternoon snack. I forgot to. I guess I'll just have that at dinner. But I wasn't like, as a term, I wasn't like desperate to have my next meal soon. It's like, oh man, I'm about ready to pass out here. That wasn't the case. My blood sugar was level, it was balanced. And at times, honestly, wasn't really that hungry. I could wait a little bit longer to have dinner. So that rush to like, all right, I got to cook something right now, or, that panic, that experience wasn't there.
Yeah. So we've seen this, which is, your experience is very consistent with thousands of our clients, because, and everybody is really surprised by it, because they initially look at that bag at the calorie content, which is somewhere between 270, maybe 320 calories, right?
I'm looking at one right now, like the one I'm going to have for, let's see, where was it? Where did I say the sweet potato hash, for example?
Yeah.
310 calories. Big deal.
Yeah,
I think, how am I supposed to survive on that?
Yeah, we'd have some serious like.
That's not healthy. Right.
So we're the official meal for Spartan races.
Wow.
They came to us.
Wow. Do you think those guys need some energy?
Yeah, and so I've had some of those athletes tell me specifically, because they said, man, these calories are like Hello Kitty calories. But also their coaches, because some of these guys podium, and I mean, they're serious and they have coaches and stuff. And to have their coaches come to me and say, okay, tell me what the heck's going on, because how can 300 and some calories sustain my athlete 4 hours during a 13-mile, 60 obstacle course, or 60 obstacles training course?
Right.
Like how does that work?
Right.
Because these guys usually pound 1,500 calories.
Absolutely.
You know, of refined carbs and so why and how can this kind of food, this kind of nominal or minimal caloric intake, fuel somebody for 4 or 5 hours? I mean, like a high performance athlete.
Right.
And so we go back to this fatty liver disease question, because my answer has become, well, here's the thing: if a lot of the food that we ingest is garbage, then whatever non-garbage calories and nutrition that we're consuming is being used by the cleaning systems and inspection systems to rid our bodies of the toxins.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a very inefficient use of energy. So if we're eating clean, non-toxic food or less toxic food, then those operating systems, the cleaning systems like the pancreas and the liver and so on, they're not overloaded with work trying to clean the blood. They're spending time doing positive work, not trying to ameliorate a negative outcome. So now most of that fuel that you've eaten is really being pumped into your get up and go systems, like your respiratory system, your recovery, you know, if you're training, you're recovering.
Sure.
And that means if your liver and pancreas and other systems are optimized and your circulatory and your blood's cleaner, then the bioavailability of this food is awesome.
Right.
That means it's actually getting, you know, the nutrition's actually getting to your cells where it needs to be, and your mitochondria are firing, and you're feeling great, and your metabolism's better, and you just feel better.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love hearing that story, because it's very antithetical. People experience this kind of disconnect of saying, well, 300 calories, you expect me to get by on that? But if you rehydrate this and you put it out on a plate of food, it's a lot of food.
It is. I mean, I usually, you know, sometimes here's a beautiful thing about this bag too. You know, so you tear the top with the water and you seal it. And then once it's ready to go, you could tear it again and you could eat right out of it like a bowl. Now I have bowls at the office, so I just put it in the bowl, and it's amazing to see how much food is in that bowl. Right?
Yeah.
And I go, wow, that's only 300 calories. What are you kidding me? Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, you could have 2 Twinkies instead.
Yeah, right. Jeez. So the thing is, this has helped me in practice. This has definitely helped my patients. It's helped my health, especially. And
how much weight did you lose through your loose phase? Because last time I checked with you, you were like 20 pounds down.
Yeah, that's kind of where I kind of stopped around there. And then there's some other things I wanted to get back into place again, and start exercising and doing things else. So I want to, I'm trying to take things to a whole new level than I ever have before. But the cool thing about it is now I have clinical proof this is what's going to work. And I love endorsing this and recommending this to my patients. It's a no-brainer. I mean, it's actually something that anything I refer to my patients, we got to have integrity in what we're doing.
Yeah.
And, the one thing I could always say is, look, anything I refer to my patients, I say, I've tried or used. I don't just do it so I can make a buck. I go, I'm doing it because I sincerely believe this is the best option for you at this time with this program. And I only want you to have the best. I don't want you've done enough cheating, cut enough corners in this life. It's now time to, hey, we got to get things back on track, and we got to do it quickly. Yeah. And the other thing too about, I'm sorry, what was the name again? He lost 50 pounds, your partner?
Joe.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, here it is. He lost that in 3 months. Guys, it doesn't take long to get healthy. It really doesn't. And there's an old saying that, change is easy. It's just thinking about change is hard. You just got to execute. And, Joe's living proof of that. And all he did was make a decision and said, all right, I'm in, let's do it. That was it. Now he's enhanced his life. He's going to be on this planet longer. He probably looks amazing, his skin and everything else. I mean, like you're saying, he's getting to a weight where he was in college, or competitive weight. I mean, those are the beautiful things that we never think we can get back to. And here he did it in just over 3 months. Or is on his way to doing that, right? It's incredible.
Yeah. One of the things I really like about the Carlton system is that, number one, the accountability. I love that because, man, that's money.
Yeah,
To be accountable to somebody is money.
Because everyone says, oh, I know I should be doing this. I go, well, then you should. But here's the thing. I'll know you'll do this when you have someone that you're paying to keep you accountable, because now you're in. Now you're all in.
You got some skin in the game.
There you go.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, not many people are willing to do that.
Yeah. And the other thing I really appreciate about what you do with your patients is that it helps them see the miracle of their body.
Exactly. It's very inspiring.
And they can, actually be able to see it, because when they begin to see it and feel it, there's another massive internal motivation. When they see results of actions taken,
right? And
to see within a month, then 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and so on, to see some drastic changes, see your body change, and to begin to right itself, because you're giving it the space to do that.
Yeah.
And people can experience the miracle of life and the miracle of this thing we call the body, that, man, it gets punished. But, man, if you treat it right, and it will do you right.
I know. It's so true. As we're coming to a close here, one of the things I always like to let, people who watch this pod, people are saying, well, where do I get these meals from? How do I get them? Obviously as a provider, we tell our patients, to go to chirothinmeals.com.
Yeah.
And then, so they go to chirothinmeals.com, they'll see some that says like the losing phase and maintenance phase. And what I tell people is, if you're doing my program, you want to do like the losing phase, but if you're not on a program and you just want to eat healthier, you could choose any one of these meals. Whether it's losing or maintenance. And when you do that, you want to put in DR Colgin as the discount code. So you get a discount on that, DR COLGIN, and we'll have that here on the screen. But, you get a chance to try these meals, and the more you buy these meals, the bigger of a discount you get. And when you look at the long game of this, the amount of money you're spending at lunch, okay, whether you're at work or somewhere else, is going to be, at least when you're paying the amount of money you're spending that way, if you're going to spend it on yourself with these meals, will take you so much further in life than what you're spending now. So
really true.
So anyway, so go ahead, Stan. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say the benefit that your patients have. I really value the relationship with Nutraceuticals and Chirothin, and I would encourage your patients certainly to go to the Chirothin page and buy with your DR Colgin code, because they'll get a discount from you that they won't get from me.
Right. Yeah. So there you go. You just heard it, right? So anyways, but for those of you there, who are listening to this, we hope you got a lot of value out of the show today. Click the subscribe button, hit that little bell, so that way you get, more, you get alerted as to when something new is posted. We're also going to see on this channel, our patient testimonials and their experience of working with us. And you're also going to get the opportunity to see more incredible guests like we had today with Stan from Element Meals. So Mr. Stan Graham, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for spending the time with me. And first of all, thank you for all you do to help us help more of our patients live a healthier and more fruitful life. We greatly appreciate it.
Means a lot. Means a lot. Thank you very much.
You're very mahalo, aloha, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.